Good evening. Welcome to episode 54, a daily dose of Donna, Rooted in Wisdom series. So today for episode 54, I'm sharing with you some insights on two types of leaders. So what type of leader are you? Are you the enabler leader or are you the empowerer, empowering leader? So I know there's all types of personality or leadership types of quizzes or surveys that you could type that or take that, tell you what kind of leader are you and what kind of behaviors or ways of leading that you might be. But that's not what we're talking about. That's not what this is. This is really more about how do you behave as a leader? How do you interact with your people, right? Whether your people are, your downline people that you supervise, right? Or your sideline people, even with your customers or your vendors. So all these traits, and whether you're the enabling leader, or the empowering leader, they trickle out and influence in these other ways, right? And all the things that we talk about here, right? Whether we're talking about leadership or organizational stuff or self-development, whatever it is, they are trickled out across all areas of our life, right? What we do in one area is influencing and is absolutely something we do in other areas of our life, even if the frequency or the level of it is different. While we might be more of an enabler, say at work, and we might be less of one in our personal life, it's still going to show up. So this is really good to look at what I'm doing in this one area. Where else is this showing up in my life? And how is it causing dysfunction across all of these areas? And now what can I do about it? So I'm going to give you some clues so that you can look within and then help you with some tools or some ways of maybe do some course correction for yourself so that you can bring out the best in your people and your organization. So what is it about the enabler versus the empower leader? Well, every leader that I talk to, every business leader, whether you have a big team and you're running a big organization, you're a leader of a big organization, or you're a small company with a few people, or even as a solopreneur, it doesn't really matter. You're leading yourself, and there's others that you're interacting with that are helping you in your business, right? So, so whatever that is, this is relevant for you. When I talk to business leaders who are my clients or just in conversation, there's a couple of things that is a common thread. And that is, I want my people to be confident and competent and committed, right? So tonight's theme is all around the E's and the C's. So you'll see a theme even in this. So enabling and empowering, and then all of the characteristics are C's. In wanting to get to having a team that is competent, confident, and committed to their role, committed to the team, committed to the organization, committed to outcomes. Sometimes there are things that are blocking people from being their best and being all of those things. And often it's the leader at the top. So I have this saying that the fish rots from the head down. If there are things that are happening in your organization or within your team, because maybe you're just one piece of the entire organization. So when I say organization, I mean the pot of people that you are responsible for overseeing, guiding, and leading. So when the fish rots from the head down, there's dysfunction or things that aren't going the way that you would like them to go. You're responsible for that. So it requires us as leaders to really look within and say, what is it about me that's not showing up as my best so that I can get the outcomes in my people that we desire as an organization, as a department, whatever those things are, right? In looking at this whole enabling aspect, right? What is the enabling leader? Well, what happens with the enabling leader is that we're blocking our people's best. And it's because we're blocking the best in ourselves also. So when we look at the virtues of the enabler leader, they are more controlling. So the enabled leader might be the one that goes around, right? Telling people what to do, how to do it, when to do it, where to do it, what their timeline is, all this. And there's all this like tight, rigid accountability of reporting and all of this. And when you're like that, you are stifling creativity in your people, and you are stifling their confidence. You are stifling their commitment to the organization, to the team, and maybe even to the outcomes. And as this, we are not allowing people to be their best, in that these things get in the way of people playing full out, because there's also now a lack of connection and a lack of trust, right? Because if you don't trust them to think for themselves, to be creative, to be resourceful, to come up with their own solutions, that lack of trust is now stifling them playing full out. So now they're going to get into a mode of, I'll just sit and wait until I'm told what to do and when to do it and how to do it and if I should do it. And then you have a stagnant organization that's playing at best mediocrity. So what are some other ways that the enabler shows up? Well, usually it's in, and I alluded to it in what I just said, which is telling and not asking, telling and not curious with curiosity. Also, there often is this element of competition within the organization, which creates silos within departments or even just within individuals themselves. So when we're pressing people against each other, or having too high level of accountability in what people should do and how they should do it and all of that, we're creating too much tension and friction and competition within. And that's going to stifle your growth, and it's going to stifle people offering up suggestions and being open and feeling comfortable with sharing. And that's going to stifle your growth as well. And often the enabler leader has this challenge with being codependent. So very often, if you're an enabler and having these other characteristics in your organization is showing up with some of these kinds of dysfunction or limitations, you are probably a codependent. And what is the primary characteristic of the codependent? Needing to be needed. So what does that show up like, right? I need to be needed. So now I'm going to be in all of your business, right? I'm going to be in there telling you what to do, how to do it, even offering to do it for you. Wow, right? Talk about getting in the way of progress. Let me just do it for you. So those are characteristics of the enabler, and that's why the organization can get stifled and what that can look like. But what about the empower leader? If you're a leader who loves to empower your people, you're giving choice. Choice is the most empowering thing that you can do, along with curiosity and inquiry, right? When we give choice, we're doing that inquiry, right? We're curious. What do you think the solution is? How would you do it? What do you see as a better way, right? We're offering up an opportunity for them to have input, offering up another perspective And even if we don't agree with it as leaders, it's totally okay, because as a leader, even when that may not be the best solution, it's allowing people to be heard. And now you can guide them on what would be another way, right? And what would it look like if we did that? And how would you go about achieving that? And by continuously inquiring, and inquiring, you're allowing your team to see the possibilities of maybe that's not the best solution, or empowering them to find a better solution than you would have even thought of. And that's what you want your team to do. So you don't have to do all the thinking, right? And creating all of the solutions. So it's active listening, it's doing the inquiry, it's giving them choice on how to solve the problem or coming up with a different solution, giving them choices in even how they want to work, right? Giving them choices in the accountability process and what the outcome could be. And then what are the benefits of that to the team, to their personal growth, to the organization, all of that. So, and then the other thing that the empowering leader, the empowerer, does is their capacity building in their people. You don't have an organization, you don't have a business if you're not building people. And I don't care if it is your vendors, your contract workers, your clients, your individual team, your one person that works for you, whatever. But it starts with you as the leader of the organization. And that is, you have to first build capacity in yourself. You have to believe in building your own abilities, skills, and knowledge. And that's what capacity building is. If you're not investing in the development of your people, your organization is flat. And if it's not flat now, it's going flat. You're either growing or you're dying. Development in skills, abilities, and knowledge is a never-ending process if you want to be competitive and keep an edge on your competition, your external competition. Your team has to be growing. And when you're building capacity in your people, guess what they're becoming? They are becoming more confident, more competent, and more committed to themselves, the team, the organization, the ultimate outcomes, which then improve your bottom line. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And how do you show caring? It's not always in giving them a raise and paying them a salary that affords them a great lifestyle. Yes, that's to be expected, but people don't work for money. They work for appreciation and recognition in addition to the money. And if they are getting the recognition and your capacity building, and they know that you care about them, they will work for less money. You will keep people in your organization longer when you are capacity building and when you are creating a collaborative work environment, not a competitive, outdated, archaic model of competition and management. We are leaders, capacity building, conscious leaders. We manage things, we lead people. So if you are managing your people, you're doing it wrong. So by doing these things as an empowerer leader, yes, you're building more confidence. They're going to make more contribution and be more committed to the organization. And that's what you want, right? If you want your work as the leader of the organization to be easier, where there is more continuity and congruency within the organization, you need to shift from being the enabler leader and being all in it, and moving to the empowered leader and being on the outside and then orchestrating these characteristics of an empowering leader. That way, you will be more effective and more efficient within your entire organization. But it first starts with leading yourself and being committed to the capacity building for you to be the example for your people. So that is the difference between being an enabler leader and being an empowerer leader. What are the characteristics that you need to shift so that you can be more of an empowered leader? What are the little clues that you're noticing within yourself or within your organization that aren't quite aligned where you want them? Look at some of these traits, and if you need some help, reach out to me. I'd love to support you in that way. See you next time.